Okay, so before we get into this draft video, I just want to kind of document today. So, Micah Parsons has been traded to the Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. It's Thursday, August 28th, 2025. It's about 11 p.m. at night. That is crazy. Um, the last 2 times the Packers have won Super Bowls, first they signed Reggie White, and they won with Brett Favre, obviously. Next, they drafted Clay Matthews Jr., who won it with Aaron Rodgers. And now they have Jordan Love, and they trade for Micah Parsons. Don't care about the picks. I mean, yeah, 2 first-round picks, okay. You trade them. They'll be in the late 20s. They're the youngest team in the league, or I guess one of the youngest teams in the league now. I think they think they're a piece away. I don't know if they're a piece away, but they're close. If Jordan Love is who you think he is, then you got to go. And as for Dallas, that's bananas. I would have paid Micah Parsons over CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott every single day of the week. So the fact that they trade him is just baffling. Just goes to show why Dallas has not been to an NFC Championship game in 30 years. They're just continue to get in their own way. Okay. Now that's out of the way. I just want to kind of document that for later videos. We're doing my number 4 team. It is a surprise. It is a surprise to me coming out of the draft. I did not think that. I mean, I thought it after the draft maybe. I was just like, oh, this is pretty good. But I really had to kind of deep dive into the teams. So my number 4 team is Patrick. Surprise, surprise. Everybody's Eskimo brother going with a new, but we'll call it classic. A classic RB0 build. So, number 14 overall. Or 14, I guess you could say. What is this? Nomination? Yeah, 14 nomination. Spent $55 on Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Detroit Lions. So, what had happened was I think you were getting pushed on Bijan, and then Jerome just went bananas, pushed it to 90. And then you were getting pushed on Jamar Chase, and Sarah pushed it to 71. So it seemed like you just straight pivoted, and you were going after guys that you may have liked or guys you thought were at a discount. So you first landed on Amon-Ra. So Amon-Ra, or the Sun God, as we like to call him, he's the only player in the league with 105 receptions or more the last 3 years. He actually had a decrease in targets, I want to say, last year as they got more help from Jameson Williams, and we got another year of Sam Laporta. But he finished, excuse me, with the career high 12 touchdowns, and he was the number 3 fantasy receiver, for the, I want to say, second year in a row. Still elite, still super high catch rate. I think it's like 81% of like the balls thrown to him. He's top 5 in first downs per route, which is really good for us going to a half a point per first down. He's heavily utilized in a pass-heavy offense. He's a bona fide top 3 receiver. He's going to get you like the 1,200, 1,300 yards. He's going to get you the 115 some odd receptions. He's going to get you like at least 8 touchdowns. So like, yeah, bona fide top 3 fantasy receiver. Fantastic player. I don't know if he'll be as good as he was last year. I mean, last year he was pushing like almost 300 fantasy points on the season. So that's asking for a lot. That again, because of all of the touchdowns, like getting 12 touchdowns is a lot. But he is the obvious number 1 in Detroit. Everything flows through him. He's still just so excellent in the slot. Like him, like, okay, so the archetype for like the slot guys like goes way back to like Wes Welker, and then it kind of just like transmutes itself over time. I think the big one obviously is like Cooper Kupp earlier in like this decade with the Rams having the Triple Crown year and they won the Super Bowl. But obviously, you know, it's turned into guys like Jackson Smith and Jigba now is like a big slot dude. You have Chris Godwin is a big slot dude. you have all these, like, obviously Cooper Cup's still there, but he gets replaced by Puka Nakua as a big slot dude. Um, but all of that's to say, the best slot receiver for the money. Excuse me. Vlad McConkey's another one, but the best slot receiver is Amon-Ra St. Brown. His ability to just get in and out of breaks and break you down is just wild. And he could do that on the outside and he can create separation, but his ability to just manipulate the coverage in the middle of the field is like ungodly. He is so fantastic at it. And it's not even like his precise route running. Like Keenan Allen's always been a precise route runner. Amon-Ra's not on that level, but his ability, like his stop and go ability is like, it reminds me of Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco, going way back. Like it just stop on a dime, turn, spin, everything. So I'm gushing over one player. It's a little much, but that's how he started the team. I think he's a superstar player. He's been fantastic. So getting him for 55, don't mind it at all. What's crazy is the next pick, because at 17 overall, for $54, you got Justin Jefferson. Like, what? Like, how did you do that? So, Jefferson, I think, what is it? Amon-Ra's entering his 5th year, I want to say. And Jefferson's entering his 6th year. So, Jefferson, for my money, has been, I want to say, since he came on the scene in 2020. I mean, everybody really likes Ja'Marr Chase right now, but for the money, I think Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in football. Like, he's putting up just ungodly numbers. Like, think about this. The last 3 years, he's had at least 100 catches, 1,500 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Like, that's video game numbers. All right, that's stupid production. He was, I want to say, the number 4 fantasy receiver last year, right behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. And that was with, remember, like, people are just like, oh, look how good Ja'Marr Chase is. Look how good Amon-Ra St. Brown is. I'm like, yeah, they got Joe Burrow. And even if I don't really like Jared Goff, like, I've seen Jared Goff be, like, a good player. Like, he went to a Super Bowl. I'll give him credit for it. More has to do with McVay, but he helped them get there. All right? Freaking Justin Jefferson's getting 1,500 yards with Sam Darnold. All right? We left Sam Darnold for dead until last year. And all of a sudden, this guy looks like he's got a 12-win team. All right? That is not the Sam Darnold I have seen for like 6 years. All right? So, yeah, Jefferson did that with Kirk Cousins and Sam freaking Darnold last year. And you're going to tell me he's going to take a step back because they have J.J. McCarthy and he's never played in the league with bull crap. That's ridiculous. All right? If anything, McCarthy ought to be better than Cousins and Darnold because he's had time to learn and recover, and he's had time to be at the feet of Kevin O'Connell, who has shown himself to be probably the best disciple of Sean McVay. So, yeah, Jefferson is fantastic. I think Jefferson is the best receiver in football. The fact that you got him for less than Amon-Ra is crazy. Like, I know he's had a slightly lower year than Amon-Ra. Like, Amon-Ra was 3, he was 4. Obviously, Chase was number 1. But, like, that more has to do with, like, the touchdowns than anything else. So, I still think he's going to get his 1,400 yards. I think he's going to get his, like, 10 touchdowns. He'll get a few less catches than Amon-Ra, probably around, like, 112. But, like, Jefferson's just fantastic. So, yeah, 2 top 3 receivers for $55 and $54. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy that Sarah paid $71 for Ja'Marr Chase and these 2 guys went for like $55. I would way much rather have one of the 2 of these guys. Just on the off chance of purely regression that Chase is not the number 1 fantasy guy and one of these guys is. Especially because I'm saving like $15 on... Yeah, I'm saving $16 on one and $17 on the other. So there's a steal. Crazy foundation. Super scary, like, superstar duo to start your team off. And then at 32, the 32nd nomination, you triple down And you're just like, no, I'm not done at receiver. So then we spent $31 on Devontae Adams. All right. So obviously, Devontae Adams is 32 now. He was a top 5 receiver for a number of years, but he's starting to get up there in age. He missed 3 games last year. He got traded from the Raiders. Then he's on the Jets, and they're not doing that great. He was like, what was it? He's been a top 15 fantasy receiver for 10 years in a row. He, funny enough, is not the number 1 target in LA with the Rams, because on that team now, Puka Nacua has gotten so good that he usurped Cooper Kupp, who's now in Seattle. But I'm going to be honest, it doesn't really matter to me, because it's Devontae Adams. He's still one of the best route runners in football. His ability to get separation is crazy. And the fact is, Sean McVay is a pass-happy guy. He's essentially playing the Odell Beckham Jr. / Robert Woods role. And when they won that Super Bowl, people forget, Odell Beckham Jr. was probably on his way to being Super Bowl MVP, not Cooper Kupp. And then he blew out his ACL. But, he was having a game. And once they signed him out of Cleveland, he was having basically his rookie season. He was breaking out again. The injuries obviously impacted his career, but early Odell Beckham Jr. is Hall of Fame trajectory kind of player. Devontae Adams is on a Hall of Fame trajectory. He's probably going to the Hall of Fame. And all of that's to say, I'm expecting a bounce back year, even if he is 32, because he is in the perfect offense for him. And yeah, he's probably a very high end, wide receiver 2. So we're talking like maybe the 12th wide receiver, but it's easy for me to see him being like a top 7 wide receiver. I'm thinking like 1,200 yards, another like 9-10 touchdowns, maybe close to 90 receptions. So like, man, getting that for 31 is kind of like Brian getting Brian Thomas Jr. for 27. I don't know which one I like more. Probably Thomas Jr. just because he's younger, but like Adams isn't and because he's the number 1 guy. But like it's really similar. Like Brian Thomas Jr. is younger, but he has to compete with Travis Hunter, and he's kind of held back by Trevor Lawrence. Meanwhile, Matthew Stafford's older, and Puka Nacua's there, but I trust Sean McVay more. So like, you know, it's whatever shade of gray you like. Even though he's older, like the Rams are just elite offense, and Matthew Stafford, even though he's older, he's 37. If he can get it there, like this is boom or bust. Like people forget early Matthew Stafford with freaking Calvin Johnson. This is what that is. So the fact that you got that for 31 is just outrageous. Like it's outrageous that you got all 3 of these players, all 3 of them at a freaking discount. So I understand it. Like no one really builds around elite wide receivers this way. To get a trio of them is just like frightening. I think what happened is you saw Bijan get taken from you after 2 years of him being excellent and him helping you win a championship, and you're just like, nah, I ain't going out like that, dog. Like, nah, if that's the case, then we're going to go full lean in, full pivot, and you straight up did that. And it's scary, and that's a really, really good trio. But we're leaving ourselves open at running back, so then we kind of started just like, I guess if these guys are like the cement bricks, we kind of got like regular bricks, and we started laying we've laid the foundation, we got to put some walls up. So with the 74th nomination, so like over 40 picks later, for $12, this is the only other guy you spent double-digit money on. You got David Montgomery. All right. The good and the bad. All right, so we're going into year 7. I want to say it's year 3 in Detroit. He played 13 games last year out of 17. Jahmyr Gibbs just had a ball towards the end of the season, but when Montgomery was healthy, he was averaging about 15 touches a game and roughly like 16 points a game. So he's got I think every game but one game, he got at least 12 points. So he's got a super high floor for the position. He's also typically the goal line back. In the same way, he took the role essentially away from Jamal Williams. I think what is it? He had 17 carries inside the 5 the last 2 years, and he's gotten a couple more catches. I mean, that's usually what Gibbs does, but he usually averages like 2 or 3 catches a game. So he's on the back end of his prime. He's 28 now, so 7 years for running backs, old. Um, and I think Gibbs is starting to like break out, so Gibbs is going to get more touches. But I mean, he's never been like in Detroit. He's been a top 15 back both years, and even if I think Gibbs is probably coming to take more work, he's still like a back end RB2, like flex kind of guy. So like, considering the 3 receivers we have to go running back. We just have to start filling holes. For $12, it's a good deal. Like, he's super safe. He'll probably get you like 800 yards, but he'll give you double-digit touchdowns, probably like 11. And he might even catch like, I don't know, 20, 25 passes, maybe for 200 yards. So, is he an RB1? Hell no. Is he an RB2? He's probably like on the fringe. But he's a super high-end flex running back. So, to get that as your 4th player drafted after we basically have like 2 bona fide superstars and then 1 former superstar that's on the back end, and just getting a super safe player, I dig it. I dig getting like the safe guy. Now, he can't get hurt. You really, really, really need him to stay healthy. But he's fantastic for what he is, which is just like a goal line workhorse. Like we talked about bell cows, he's not a bell cow. Bell cow would be like Bijan, but he's a workhorse. He's a goal line workhorse. Like you get him near the goal line, he's gonna plow through. And lucky for him, he's got that role, not Gibbs. And we love us some touchdowns. So for $12, I really like it as your number 1 running back. Like that's a pretty fantastic to get a high floor like that. Then 92 overall, $6, Calvin Ridley, which is funny because he's not even starting for you right now. So Calvin Ridley's in year 2 in Tennessee. Tyler Boyd's gone. DeAndre Hopkins is gone. Last year was real rough with Will Levis as the quarterback, and then Mason Rudolph. So he still broke 1,000 yards, and I think he led the NFL in air yards with like 1,800 air yards. But his ability to I think he was the most inaccurately thrown to player in the NFL. They just could not get him the ball. And I think he led the NFL in red zone targets 2 years ago with like 25. And then last year he got like 4, which are his 4 touchdowns. He's only finished once. Like his breakout year in Atlanta was his only year he was finished better than 18th in like fantasy. So he's in like back end wide receiver 3 kind of flex-ish territory. We really don't know what to make of Tennessee. I've mentioned before, I think the Titans have the best offensive line in the division, but the division's really bad. Their offensive line's maybe like, I don't know, like 18th in the league. It's not great. It's below average. So I think Ridley, because all of the lost targets, because they still need help, because there's not a lot there, and because I think Cam Ward is better than Will Levis or Mason Rudolph, or really anyone they've had since Tannehill. And even Tannehill's not much of a passer. He's a play-action guy to the tight ends and stuff, but he wasn't great for any stretch of time. I would say Calvin Ridley probably gets you 1,100 yards, probably gets you like 7 touchdowns, and maybe like 75 receptions. So he's a solid flex guy, but he's not even starting for you, funny enough, because once you know it, we went back to an old friend at number 99 for $8 in Jerry Jeudy. And this just irritates the crap out of me. So I'm going to go on my rant because I did this with like freaking Justin. So like, it's one thing if you want to tell me, okay, Dylan, like that's a bad team. I don't know too much about them. Like, I don't think there's going to be anything here. Like, last year with Cortland Sutton, I took Cortland Sutton because I had a belief, not in Bo Nix, but in Sean Payton, and I took him for cheap. I think I spent like, I want to say like $6 on Cortland Sutton. No, it was less than that. It was like $3 on Cortland Sutton last year. All right. And if you want to sell me on the idea of just like, we haven't seen, like, I've seen Cortland Sutton be a top 30-ish receiver, but we haven't seen him be like top 15 before. If you want to sell me on the idea of just like, I want to take like a young player, a young possibly ascending player, over someone who I haven't seen it, who's been in the league a few years. I get that. Like, I understand, you want the second year breakout wide receivers. Okay. That totally makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is when you have someone who has shown you that they are not good, not great, elite. You have someone who's literally shown you they're elite at what they do, and you just progressively ignore them, especially when their situation gets better. Like, people do not understand how bad Cleveland was last year. Like, yeah, okay, Jameis was there for fantasy purposes. He's just chucking the ball up. He did not play the whole season, guys. All right, Watson was there. There was some freaking, like, I think the guy they just signed to their practice squad was starting some games. Like, there was a bunch of different quarterbacks last year. It was not a great time. You know who was thriving the entire time? Even when Amari Cooper was there, even when Charles Tillman got hurt, even when David Njoku wasn't doing anything, it was freaking Jerry Jeudy. He got 90 receptions, over 1,200 yards, and he was a top 15 receiver. And yet, he's going for $8 because why? Because Joe Flacco's suddenly worse than all the guys they had last year? That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous statement. So, yeah, that just, it just, like, this is the kind of stuff where I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, what are some of these back-end teams in our league, like, even doing? Like, why, what, I don't, like, what is it? Like, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt went for that much. Freaking, what is it? Devontae Smith went for like 14. And I like Devontae Smith. Like, Xavier Worthy went for 16. Travis Kelce went for 16. Like, again, Justin spent 10 on Tyler Warren. Zay Flowers went for 10. I like Zay Flowers. These are guys I like. But, like, we're hoping the upside of these players is literally what Jerry Jeudy just did, okay? It literally happened. We literally saw it, and it's just like, he's not worth it. Like, why? For what? Like, are you kidding? So you know who else is entering their 6th NFL season, just like Justin Jefferson? Freaking Jerry Jeudy. So he led the league in snaps last year. He was, like, I want to say, he's never finished lower than, like, 13th in like routes or targets or catches or yards at any point in time in his entire career. He's been basically healthy the whole time. From week 8 on, so yeah, after Watson got hurt, he was the number 6 fantasy receiver. And yeah, you're going to sell me Winston. Winston wasn't playing all of those games, guys. And this is also, by the way, with Jeudy only scoring 4 touchdowns on the season. He was outpacing everybody in yards. All right, yards and receptions. He was eating teams alive. And 2 of the last 3 years, he's been a top 25 fantasy wide receiver. He's the clear number 1 on the Browns now because he showed not good output, not great output, elite output, okay? If we just want to count the back half of last season, again, he was the number 6 fantasy receiver. And the fact that you got him for $8, and we knew this, is just, like, I was trying to push for him, and I ran out of money. And I'm just, like, still a part of me is still so annoyed that, like, this happened. So that is even more so than Amon-Ra and, like, Justin Jefferson and even Devontae Adams. Like, Jeudy ought to have been like a $30 player. He got him for $8. It just baffling. It's just baffling to me. Another 1,200 yard season, another 90 receptions, probably positive touchdown regression, probably like 7 or 8, even with 40-year-old Joe Flacco or Dylan Gabriel or whoever gives a crap at quarterback. It could be Shadur. It doesn't matter because apparently, like in Cleveland with Kevin Stefanski, we scheme our number 1 receivers to be able to do anything. and that is what Judy did. And so Calvin Ridley's not even going to play for you because Judy's just going to eat up all those targets, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I got him for $8. This is a crazy deal, and I don't know how nobody noticed it. Yeah. So going back through this, I was kind of like during the draft, like, man, Patrick's taking a lot of receivers. Going back through this and like doing the research, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like what is anybody doing during this draft? Like, is anyone like even paying attention to the fact that Patrick just is continuously getting a deal on like any receiver he wants, like any of them? Like, I just pick a guy and deal. It just what? So yeah, 103 nomination, $3, Joe Mixon. He is out for at least 4 games. He had a very good start to his like Houston career last year. I talked a lot in Robbie's video how I think Nick Chubb doesn't have it. I'm not really sure Mixon has it either. I mean, he was getting like a lot. Just like, this is my fear with Chase Brown. So like, through 15 games, he was getting like at least 20 touches a game. He's getting like 100 yards. And he's 29. He's gotten over 2,000 touches in his life. He's a good player, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know if he can keep this up. Like, those years on a running back are like basically like, it's like twice that of a receiver because you just get hit so much. So I don't know if Mixon's even going to play half the season. He's going to sit in your IR for a while. I don't mind it for $3 just to kind of see, kind of like Judkins. But unlike Judkins, I don't know if the talent's still going to be there. It's just the situation more so than anything else. I don't think Chubb's going to make it through the whole season either, but that's beside the point. So we'll say like 500 yards rushing, and then we'll say like 20 receptions and maybe a couple hundred yards receiving. I wouldn't be afraid to like cut him if I really need somebody and it's like week 6 or something. Mixon is average. He's average now, unfortunately. And it's not even mostly him. I would say he's like slightly above average talent-wise, but the situation is just not great. The O-line's terrible. They got a new offensive coordinator. He's not going to get as much work as he did, which is where most of his basically points came from last year. Not efficiency, just basically overwork, which is what caused him to get hurt in the first place. So, yeah, I'd keep an eye on him. Their GM talked about him possibly not even playing this season, so I definitely keep an eye out on like whatever the heck is going on in Houston. I don't know. They're very strange over there in Texas. So, 37 overall, $4. Javonte Williams. So this is like the fun pick. So like, he spent 4 years in Denver. Rookie year Javonte Williams looked like a fantastic player. All right, he's got it all. He's got the full package. Actually, to be honest with you, it kind of like a worse version of like what happens with like Breece Hall. Like Breece Hall blows out his knee, and he just doesn't have that lateral step. Maybe a better version than Nick Chubb, who just looks kind of like gone. But ever since that injury, his rookie year in Denver, he's never been the same. He just, I think, gosh, his rookie year he had like 1,200 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. And then in the 3 prior years, it's kind of all fallen apart. And what's even worse is last year, he had Sean Payton as a head coach with Bo Nix, and he was given the job, and he still couldn't be a top 25 running back. I don't think he was even top 30 in fantasy, to be honest with you. And, Brian Schottenheimer is the new head coach in Dallas, which is kind of strange and doesn't make sense. And I understand Javonte Williams is only 25, and I understand he is the number 1 running back, and I understand the defense is bad after trading Micah Parsons, and they're going to be in a lot of shootouts, and he's going to be there. But man, he just looks. I do not like saying like someone just doesn't like their career is over, but like he just doesn't look like he's got it. Like he looks like a backup, and like a wily veteran backup at that. Like not even like a Frank Gore kind of sage, teach you the ropes kind of guy. Just kind of like someone who's there. And he's starting. And it's just like Miles Sanders is his backup. And it's not great. He's technically your number 2 running back right now. And I would seriously consider making Ramondre Stevenson be the number 2 running back. Because Javonte in 3 years has just not looked good. It's not like he's inefficient. He doesn't have good vision. His speed's gone. He's indecisive. It's not even like the loss of explosiveness. He doesn't have that belief in his knee and that confidence. Yeah, all of that's to say, I'm thinking maybe like 700 yards rushing, maybe like 250 yards receiving, maybe like 6 touchdowns. It's not great, man. Like, you're going to be looking to upgrade this for a while. Unless Ramondre turns into, like, even last year, he was on your team and he won a title and he was, like, the sore spot in your lineup. But, like, at least for Ramondre's sake, even with Travion Henderson, at least he's going to stay healthy. At least he shows some explosiveness. Like, Javonte's just got, like, he's got no wheels, man. He's got, like, a bum knee. And it's unfortunate and it's sad to see. But, you know, the cliff for running backs is fast. It happened to Todd Gurley. It could be happening to Christian McCaffrey. It's kind of happened to like Austin Eckler. And unfortunately for Javonte, it happened when he was 21 and now he's 25. And the explosiveness is just not there. And yeah, for an RB2, like he's a low-end flex at best. He might lose the job to Jaden Blue at some point in the season. Definitely do not count on him making it through the season. But, I mean, for the money, for $4, you can't beat it. So, at $181 for $1, definitely can't beat that. Got freaking Ramondre Stevenson. So, which is crazy, because he literally just helped you win a championship last year. But they drafted Travion Henderson in the second round. I mentioned that. Justin went crazy and went $41 on Travion. And Ramondre has always had a fumbling issue, so not great. But he still had, like, I want to say, close to 1,000 yards if you count the rushing and receiving last year. And even though he's 27 now, they bring in Mike Vrabel, who's a run-heavy head coach. And kind of adding on to that, people forget, like, Vrabel before Derrick Henry used to have basically tandems. And so I don't think Ramondre Stevenson's going away. I think he's still going to be there. He's going to be the starter to start the season. And even as much as I like Henderson, I don't think Henderson's going to get a bell cow role because Ramondre Stevenson's not going away. I think he'll get 750 yards rushing. I think he'll get another 200 yards receiving. I think he'll be the goal line back. I think he'll get like 10 touchdowns. And I think he's your number 2 running back because I do not trust Javonte Williams. So the fact that Stevenson went for $1 is just wild. Like, I understand the explosiveness, like, but he's never really gotten all that hurt. He's just never really had, like, as much explosiveness. But because he's never gotten hurt, he's always been available. He's still a good runner. He still has good vision. He's aged well. And so he's got limited upside. And he's more of a thunder to Travion's lightning. Like, Travion has breakaway speed. But I imagine Stevenson's going to be the goal line guy. It's more like a Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery situation. And I don't mind you taking Montgomery. So, is he more of a flex? Yeah. But as your RB2 for $1? $1? That's crazy. $191, $4, Keenan Allen. I feel like this was a reach. He just went back to I'm about to call it San Diego. He just went back to the Chargers in LA. He only spent a year in Chicago. It wasn't great. He just simply wasn't as efficient because things in Chicago were not good. They had no idea how to use him. I saw him lining up on the outside. I'm like, he's a slot receiver. You guys are stupid. Did go to the end zone 7 times, but it was like one of his worst seasons in a while. I think he was like the 34th ranked wide receiver. And the other issue is Lad McConkey's in the slot for the Chargers and Herbert, so I don't know where the heck they're going to put Keenan Allen. He's never been an outside receiver. So I think he's more solid than anything else. I think he's like a good flex kind of guy. I think he'll get you like 800 receiving yards, maybe like 5 touchdowns. He's just on the back end of his career now, like assuredly. And you can't build around him even with his route running because he just doesn't have that kind of speed. But he'll show McConkey the nuance, and he'll be a big part of that offense, especially because Mike Williams has retired. So I suppose getting him for $1 is good. There are other players I would have preferred, especially around that price range. But Keenan Allen is very cheap, and we know he's got a high floor. And I remember on Mac's championship team a couple years ago, he was like a top 15 receiver. So it's not all that long ago. He was still like in elite company. And while I don't think he's going to get back to that kind of magic, because there were a lot of things that had to go that way, and the Chargers are more like pass run heavy than anything else now with Greg Roman. But all of that's to say, $1 for 191 at Keenan Allen just to see if there's something still there, see if he can recreate the magic. Isn't bad. Well, $4, because $1's 194. Rashid Shaheed. So I know this is like kind of who you threw out there. He's going into like his 4th year. He was having a breakout like first 5 games in like for the Saints, which is kind of crazy. Like first Olave gets hurt in week 5, and then Shaheed gets hurt in week 6, and he was pacing the like Saints in targets like 7 a game, and he had like a few actually like rushes up to that point. He's one of the better deep threats in the league. He's also a pretty good returner. He's kind of similar in a way. Like his game is a lot like Deebo Samuel. The issue is we don't. The Saints are not good, man. Like I have Chris Olave on my fantasy team. We're gonna get into that in my video, but like Chris Olave is the number 1. He's the number 2. Old Alvin Kamara is like the number 3, and then the slot guy's Brandon Cooks, who's returned after like 9 years. I think he got drafted in 2016, so like 9 years since he got drafted in the first round. Gosh, a lot's happened since then by the Saints. So I'm thinking like maybe 60 touchdowns, maybe 800 yards, maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns. He'll be like a low-end flex. There are going to be games where he might have some upside, but the real issue is like the quarterback Spencer Rattler. He's not a great deep ball thrower. He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league last year, and I understand there's not a lot going for the Saints, but to be completely honest, the Saints' offensive line isn't that bad. Why do you think Kamara has been able to churn out like season after season? It's not because of Kamara's talent, which is wanting, by the way. I like Kamara, but his acceleration is what made him great, and that is slowly like kind of dissipated over the time. But he still gets a lot of touches, still efficiently puts up yards. That has a lot to do with the O-line. So if Spencer Rattler can just be an average NFL quarterback, Shaheed will be pretty good. I don't know if Spencer Rattler's got that in him. I'm not even sure if we can get below average. We're probably going to get like among the worst quarterbacks in the league kind of production. And I'm kind of, in a way, counting on that and kind of ballparking that into like why I think Shaheed's going to get like maybe 800 yards and like 4 touchdowns. So like there will be games where he might have big games. He's a deep threat. I will say the Saints, in all likelihood, will be playing from behind in almost every game. So they're going to get a lot of garbage time. But I don't know if Rattler's going to do anything with it. And, I'm not sure he can even get Shaheed the ball deep. But we're going to find out. I don't have a problem with you taking a flyer on him. I just kind of wish, I'd rather have taken, like, Jawan Jennings, for example, or like a Marvin Mims, or I don't know, like a Christian Kirk or something. Shahid's just he's in a bad situation, and I don't think there's significantly enough upside to go along with it. So this video is quite long, but all of that's to say, I mentioned before towards the beginning, this is a classic RB0 build. So what do I mean by that? So RB0, the thought is like you just smash, receiver, and then you just try and get like whatever running backs you can cobble together and kind of throw them out there to just kind of fill the holes. And I think you've more or less done that. Now, again, I've always said in this league in 12 years, only one team has won without a top 5 running back. Technically, it's 2 because again, Vivian with Kamara his rookie year, but he was a top 5 back when he played. So I don't really count that. He was like literally the number 3 back in fantasy. It's just, it's his rookie year. He got injured. He didn't play like the first 4 weeks essentially. So yeah, I don't really count that. But so that means the only one is Holly. And a lot of things had to break right for Holly. She had to have the number 1 quarterback. Which reminds me, I missed your quarterback, so we're going to go do that right now, actually. So at 140 overall for $1, we got Brock Purdy. I mean, why not go back to the well? He just helped you win a championship. You're getting him for $1, and that was with him having not a great year, to be honest with you. He threw for like 3,800 yards. He had like 20 touchdown passes. He had 12 interceptions. And he was like the 13th ranked fantasy quarterback. And now we get George Kittle back, and we get Christian McCaffrey back, and we get Trent Williams back, and we have Ricky Purcell playing the whole season, and we get like Jawan Jennings possibly taking a step. So yeah, he doesn't throw the ball as much as you would like. But, like, it doesn't really matter. He's a perfect fit for what Shanahan wants to do. And with all of the guys back and the O-line being better, I think he's going to have a better season. I think he'll have 4,500 yards. I think he'll have, like, 25 touchdowns. I think he'll be better than, like, Dak Prescott or, like, Bo Nix or some of these guys. Probably even better. I don't know about better than Baker, but he'll be around there. So, better than Justin Fields. Better than, like, Justin with the rushing, I guess maybe not with the rushing. Better than J.J. McCarthy. Better than Justin Herbert. Because they're going to do a lot of play action pass, and he's going to do what he does best. And yeah, I think he's going to be around like the 10th or 11th best fantasy quarterback. So getting that for $1, perfect. So getting back to what I was saying, you did a classic RB0 kind of run, and everything comes down to your superstar receivers. So it's going to be Amon-Ra, it's going to be Justin Jefferson, it's going to be Devontae Adams, it's going to be Jerry Jeudy, funny enough. Freaking Calvin Ridley is on your bench because you got Jerry Jeudy for $8 freaking dollars. That's wild. All right, we'll say Ridley. I mean, he's had 1 year being the 18th best receiver. So we'll just assume for argument's sake, he's like we'll say 25th best receiver. All right. Let's say Jeudy is not as good as he did last year, and he's around like 20. If we count Jefferson, Adams, and Brown, and Jeudy, that's 4 top 20 receivers. We'll say Montgomery is roughly kind of what he is, so he's like a top 15 running back. Freaking Brock Purdy's like a top 11 quarterback, so 11th. And Ramondre is what he was last year, and he's like a 30th running back. That's the championship level team. It's a weird way to say it. It's a weird way to go about it. I don't know if it'll work, but the upside is crazy. So, I mean, God, just think about this for a second, all right? Like, let's say, for argument's sake, uh, Justin Jefferson decides to have the season that he had a few years ago, we'll say, like, under Kirk Cousins, where he had 1,800 yards and like 16 touchdowns. So basically, the season that Jamar Chase just had. Like, what the hell is anyone going to be able to do if he does something like that and Amon Ra's just the same? Or if they both have seasons like that? Like, it is the possibility of that is actually higher than you think it would be, all things considered. So that's really scary. That's really I don't like thinking about that. I've always thought that you need a top five. Yeah, so this is what we're getting into. Holly was the exception to winning a championship in my league without a top five running back. She had the number one quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. She had the number one tight end, Julius Thomas. She had the number one receiver, which was OBJ. She also had Julio Jones. And she had like the number 8 running back, which was Justin Forsett. So no one really since then has done a true RB0 run and made like had a real go at winning a championship. But this is the first team I've truly looked at where I'm just like, that is not out of the realm of possibility. Especially this season when I'm looking around and I'm just like, there's no super teams. There's no like, this team is like so great and so perfectly built, like some of those Andre teams, which are Andre's first championship team, crazy. So it's scary how big the upside is. Now, granted, I'm putting you at 4 because the floor is lower than other people. Injuries do happen to receivers. They happen more to running backs, but they do happen to receivers too. And, Amon-Ra missed some games last year. Jefferson gets nicked up too. Like, it's not going to be pretty. If you lose anyone, if Ramondre or David Montgomery go down, it's going to get kind of touch and go. I know you just got Kareem Hunt, but it's not. I do not trust Javonte Williams. Kareem Hunt's okay. I don't know how long Joe Mixon is out. Realistically speaking, you need David Montgomery to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy. As for the other ones, you really just need Ramondre and Javonte and Joe Mixon and Kareem Hunt. Between the 4 of them, you essentially need to cobble together one healthy season of like being a top 30-ish running back. I think that's doable. But you need Montgomery to stay healthy. So it's kind of like a rocket with like a bunch of rocket fuel, but the wings are made of aluminum. It's real scary. But like, man, you could end up on the moon. I just don't know if the wings are gonna hold up. So yeah, that's why you're the 4th team. I guess if things aren't really working out halfway through the season, you ought to definitely pivot, see if you can move one of the receivers, get like a really good running back. Even if you can't trade for one of the star running backs at one of the lower teams, you could probably get. I don't know. I have James Cook. You could try for something like that, or like Brian has Kenneth Walker the second, something around there. But man, the upside's enormous. This is like it's really interesting to see like an RB0 team, especially like a veteran RB0 team. So this is gonna be fun. It's a really fun experiment to see. And you know what? You just won a championship, so all the props to you for like kind of pivoting and just going full tilt and just being like, nah, let's do what we do. Like if it doesn't work, I won a title already, doing what I do, so let me do something a little different because it seems like you saw the draft going the way it did, and you're just like, no, this isn't going to work. I got to do something else, and you just leaned all the way into it, and I respect the hell out of that. So, yeah, I'm going to give this draft grade a B. There's going to be some weeks where you're just going to blow the brakes off people, but there might be some weeks where you just wet the bed. So it's going to be really interesting to see. But I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see someone go this route because we haven't really seen someone go this route in a while and do it well. So this will be fun. I wish you the best of luck. Let me know if you ever want to trade one of your receivers. But yeah, be fourth best team, upside for a title, downside for no playoffs. Super interesting RB0 build. Good job, Patrick. If nothing else, you will keep things very interesting.